Okay, back in Tennessee. This is Sam's Gap, where I left off last year in May. And so it's May of 2025. Getting back on the Appalachian Trail. And a little chillier than it is in Florida, so had to add a layer. And we're gonna get that pack on and get hiking. Okay, and here we go. Picking up where I left off last year. That was the very spot I hung out to wait for the shuttle ride to Nature's Inn Hostel and Cabins. That's where I stayed at the end of last year's hike. So back on the Appalachian Trail. It's cooler, so it's probably low 50s right now. And it's, I think it's about 9 a.m. So it'll warm up a little bit, but I had to add a layer. All right, you know what sucks is putting the pack on and the straps are tighter. So I had to loosen all the straps. So I'm bigger than I was last year. So good feeling. So we'll work on the diet plan this week, I guess. Losing a little weight. Views of the trail. More blowdowns than in previous years. Hurricane Helene came through last year in 2024 and devastated this area of Erwin, Tennessee. My travel for this section hike was early morning flight from Florida here to the Tri-Cities Airport, and a shuttle from Steve with Unicoi shuttles. Took about 45 minutes or so to Sam's Gap. So pretty easy. Yeah, it's pretty easy to get here. I got here like 9:15 to start hiking. So, but I did have to wake up at 4 a.m. So really early start. Big thanks to my wife for getting up early to take me to the airport. That's huge. And I'm here hiking. So that was travel, pretty easy. And Steve also provided a little gas canister. Here are some views of the trail. Yeah, Steve, he's been a trail maintainer recently, especially since Hurricane Helene devastated this area in late summer 2024, last year. So he was able to show me some of the damage along I-26, which is just a little bit of the damage. And I'm seeing more blowdowns this year too. So I expect to see quite a bit of blowdowns, but they did a lot of hard work to, cut through all those blowdowns to make the trail passable for this hiking season. So yeah, really appreciative of their hard work. Miles and miles of blowdowns they had to cut through. So I'm sure I'll be able to show some of that later in the hike. Okay, found a little break spot at the top of this climb. I think I'm going to get a view pretty soon here, which I'll record. Yeah, so just taking a little moment to finish setting up some things in the backpack to where they all need to be. The plan for this section is 75 total miles. So Sam's Gap is the starting point at mile 320 on the AT. And about 10-mile days. So about 7.5 days worth of hiking to US 19 East, which is the town of Roan Mountain. So that's the plan. That's mile 395. So a total of 75 miles to hike. And just getting started. It's, let's see, 10:30 right now. So I'm probably a couple miles in at this point, and I'll show you that view in a second. Yeah, I got to say, a nice cool day like this, and then you see the trail kind of open and it's meandering through this meadow area, and then you see Big Bald just beyond it up there. So I'll be up there probably today, if not then tomorrow. And how far that is, it's about 5 miles away. But yeah, super charmed by this really nice area of trail, and they're doing an awesome job maintaining this area. It's just so nice to walk on. Well, we've been experiencing some wind out of the north. It turns out it's a bit of a cold snap coming in. I checked the weather for Erwin, and it said it's like 11 or 12 miles per hour out of the north, but it should die down about 10 p.m. tonight, so feeling good about that. And it's pretty chilly. I would put the temps about 50 degrees. It's about 1:15 right now, and I'm a little bit winded. I'm climbing up Big Bald right now. So I actually stopped at about noon at a water source to just refill and just kind of plan out if I was going to stay there for the night. So that would have been just like 3.7 from Sam's Gap, and then just stay there and just really like a really easy first day. Couldn't see just staying there, so it's another 4 miles to Bald Shelter. So it's higher elevation, and so I had a decision to make. I'm like, okay, cooler night, do I stay lower or do I go higher? So I chose to go higher. It sounds like just nicer setup there with the bear box and a shelter and plenty of dedicated tent pads. So we're gonna go on to Bald Shelter, and probably 3 miles from here. So just up from this bench, I actually see something back there. I think it's just power lines. Yeah, some sort of power line situation. Yep. Oh, and a house. So, okay, so there's actually like a little subdivision. I read about that. So see a few roofs, and I think there's a road right here. So it's pretty rare that we rush up against a road like this. Yep, and there it is. Okay, the climb is on up to Big Bald. It's hard, it's always difficult to convey it through video, but it's a pretty steep section climbing up that way. You can barely see the trail kind of weaving in and out of these rocks and ferns and stuff. So I don't know, I'm within a half a mile of Big Bald, so hopefully we'll get good views. All right, so I'm continuing to climb. Wow, I've seen balds, but this is a bald. I'm not even at the top yet. It's just going to be windy up here, but everything else is amazing. And here's the top. Survey marker. Big bald, elevation 5,516 feet. Heck yeah, not a bad day one. All right, here I am at the Bald Mountain Shelter, built in 1985. They do a good job of maintaining this one. It's got everything you need. And I'm boiling some water right now to make dinner. It's up only about 4:30, but I'm gonna give it plenty of time to soak. But yeah, I'm kind of set up here, just cooking. Only one here so far. I'm a little surprised by that, being that it's 4:30. But yeah, there's plenty of time left for people to show up. And I'm going to be tenting out front in the grassy area. So just kind of wanted my own space this time around for tonight. So decided to set up the tent, even though there's plenty of space in the shelter. Okay, this is my first DIY backpacking meal that I made. Dehydrated it myself, just ground beef. I put some ramen in there and some vegetable soup mix, dehydrated. So it actually turned out really good. Yeah. So yeah, it just has a good taste. Should be plenty of food, nice and warm. Yeah, it's a good one. Worked out. Okay, so it's only about 6 p.m. and it's forecast to be pretty chilly tonight. It gets down to about 43 degrees apparently in Erwin. Now, Erwin is not even 2,000 feet in elevation, and I'm at over 5,000 feet in elevation. So if that's 43, theoretically I would be experiencing mid 30s where I'm at here. So yeah, Also had an early start today to travel to the airport and all that stuff. So I'm feeling a little tired, and it's kind of nice. The sun is hitting my tent here, and got this greenhouse effect going on where it's nice and warm in here. So I'm going to take advantage of the warmth while I can and relax because I had an early start. Good morning. I just left the shelter. That was the Bald Mountain Shelter, and I showed up there about 4:30, and I was the only person there for a while. And then people started trickling in. So yeah, by about 7:30, we had about a dozen people. So so lots of activity, lots of tenters and shelter people, and it got cold. Looking at the weather reports on the way here, I did know that it was going to probably dip into the 30s, and it definitely did. The winds died down, though, once they hit about 10 p.m., so that was kind of good. But, yeah, I wasn't super restful, just when you have cold spots and everything. So got about a half a night's sleep on top of the night before, having to get up early. A little on the tired side, but no, it's going to be another great day. Should warm up into the 60s, so I'm looking forward to it. The plan for today is 10.6 miles to the No Business Knob Shelter. And I heard a story about No Business Knob before. The name comes from moonshining. So when asked, hey, what's going on up there? Oh, you have no business up there. So something like that. I read about that. So that's why it's called No Business Knob Shelter. I'm just noticing fresh grass clippings. This whole section that I've hiked so far has been really well maintained. So, I mean, there's people coming through with weed eaters, just knocking down some of that growth. And yeah, I mean, just great maintenance in this whole area. So it's been it's been real nice. I just saw a couple deer run away just a second ago. Only about 2.5 miles into my day today, but I took a nice break here and talked to Cam about some stuff, and going to continue on. The sun has come out, and it's actually really nice right now. Probably still in the 60s, but yeah, really nice. All right, I just climbed up two high rocks. Not sure if it's the mountain's name or what, but just wanted to capture some more of the Hurricane Helene damage and just how many cuts they had to make to get the Appalachian Trail passable. So yeah, appreciate all that hard work, man. and there's supposed to be an overlook around here, so I'll try to find that. Climbing this steep side trail to high rocks. Azalea. All right, I might have to put this away. All right, just popping out to high rocks. Nice open area. Azaleas. So nice. And it's one of those situations where you have nice cool air and nice warm sun, light breeze, so things are good. Hiking through some more Hurricane Helene damage. In fact, it's the same ravine that I just kind of showed in the previous shot, coming down this ravine. But I am surrounded by all these down trees, and again, they did a great job of cutting through this. But I'm just realizing that I would be walking through the woods right now, but I am in full sun because so many trees have been downed. It's just, I'm actually right in the middle of it. So pretty incredible. It's interesting how, this ravine got hit so hard. It must have been just a massive gust that just shot right through here. So I think it's really interesting how it's not all like this. It's just isolated areas are suffer this kind of damage. On we go. Right, just coming out of Spivey Gap, and I was able to talk with Miss Janet. There she goes. And then a couple other hiker friends that I met on this trip, Cliff and Sheila. So anyway, Spivey Gap. I'm going to climb out of Spivey Gap and hopefully make it to No Business Shelter or right before it, because I guess there's really good campsites before it. So on we go. I should explain. So Miss Janet is a long time, I guess, famous trail angel for the Appalachian Trail in this whole area. So she shuttles people around. She hands out trail magic like Gatorade. She just gave me a Gatorade. That's always nice. And yeah, so anyway, super famous trail angel. All right, just rolled into Devil Creek Gap, just a Forest Service road, and there's parking for a couple cars, I guess, up that way, and right over here. So cool, but we just kind of cross the road right here and just keep on going. All right, stopping here near this mountain laurel. Just a little update on what I'm thinking is instead of going all the way to No Business Knob Shelter, I'll stop a little bit short and just hit up a tent site near some water. That was a tip from Miss Janet. She knows the area really well. And that, I guess, No Business Knob Shelter, the shelter itself isn't anything to write home about. So yeah, and there's no water source right there either. So yeah, I'm just gonna probably lay up within a mile short of that, something like that, and just find a nice tent site. Okay, there were no tent sites available leading up to this, so I'm actually at the No Business Knob Shelter, and there it is. Yeah, for some reason people are saying don't stay here, but here it is. I mean, if it's raining, I would totally stay in there, and it's brick. Oh. Okay, and turning around, lots of tent sites here, so thinking that's what I'm gonna do, tent sites. It'd be nice if they had bare cables, so I'll look for that. If not, I'll have to hang my bag.
At least walking without a pack feels.
Good morning. It's about 8:15 a.m. and just got up, got packed up at No Business Knob Shelter. I tented outside the shelter. And the thing about this place is that the water's not right there. You actually have to backtrack downhill, 0.2. And now I gotta hike it back up 0.2. So just to get back to where my backpack is and stuff. This is what I do. I just kind of fill up my water collection bag, and I got the Sawyer Squeeze filter on there. And so that's a little over a liter. And so then I'll just fill my bottles and then get to hiking. So that's what's up. And I might as well say the update. So last night was pretty comfortable temperature wise. I think I'm at about 2,500 feet in elevation, and it was just warmer anyway weather wise. So probably dipped into the 50s, but definitely prepared for that kind of temperature. Yeah, pretty restful. Felt like I caught up on sleep good. Yeah, and it was actually really quiet. Like once night hit, really quiet. Like no birds chirping, nothing rustling around, hardly any wind at all. So yeah, real quiet. Got some good rest and had breakfast and everything already today. So we're gonna get to it and try to get through Erwin. The shuttle that runs across the river because of the hurricane damage took out a bridge. So that shuttle ends at 1 o'clock, running regularly. So I'm trying to beat that time. So trying to get out a little earlier today. And then make it to another shelter. I think it's something Orchard Shelter past Erwin. So that'll be 10.6. And one other thing about last night was it was just me for a little bit until about 6 p.m. And then a guy and his son, 15-year-old son, showed up, and they started a fire in the fire ring. And yeah, we chatted. They're actually local here to Erwin, so we talked a lot about Hurricane Helene and just, you know, what everybody kind of did to recover, and it's pretty impressive. So it was good talking with those guys. All right, so this is characteristic of this whole section. I would say probably 3 miles back before the shelter, and then through here is this trail that kind of just hugs the side of the mountain, and so like down there you just got pretty steep incline, and then up pretty steep incline. So it makes for a trail that like there's not a lot of places to stop and take a little break and stuff like that. No campsites. So yeah, it's just a little tougher. I mean, I do like how it's a nice, easy, decline. So that's really nice. So this is easy walking. It's just you don't get opportunity for breaks. On we go. Okay, I sort of touched on it a little earlier, but the idea is about 10.6 miles to Something Orchard Shelter past Erwin. I'll stop in Erwin to grab a couple dinners, but the reality is I overpacked food. So like all my snacks, all my breakfast, all my lunches are already handled. So I just need a couple dinners to get me through the rest of the week. There's no more realistic place to resupply after Erwin. So I'll do a quick stop at Uncle Johnny's, get that ferry across the Nolichucky River, and then continue up to that, climbing up to out of the Erwin area to that Something Orchard Shelter. Hiking into some major Hurricane Helene damage. I mean, it's super obvious the parts that get hit. I walk through a lot that's relatively untouched, and then you look at this, and there must have been some kind of gust that came through here. So apparently, after talking to the guy last night with his son, they were peppered with about 5 days of rain as it was a large storm as it was approaching, and then the hurricane came, and so like the ground was wet, and so it probably was a big contributing factor. This is where the bridge used to be that I would have crossed, but instead there's a shuttle service just down here. There goes the ferry driver. Yeah, super nice. All right, off I go. So I have to cross some shallow water and then continue on the AT. All right, I'm not gonna lie, that water on the feet feels real good. I would have never chose to do that, but now that I had to wade across some of that shallow water, I actually felt really good. All right, so I guess I have to climb this bank up the Appalachian Trail. Awesome. Okay, the other side of the bridge that's been taken out by Hurricane Helene, and some pieces of the bridge and crossed, and I found the Appalachian Trail right here. All right, another 4.5 miles to the shelter today, and it's 1 o'clock. Making good time. All right, 1.5 miles to Curley Maple Gap Shelter. So this is some pretty hard work. You can see me sweating. I was weaving along with this stream. It was a pretty healthy stream down there for couple 2 to 3 miles. So a lot of little gnats and stuff, but a lot of decent campsites would have been down there. But I wanted to go ahead and get this mileage, get the planned mileage. So yeah, I was saying something about Orchard Shelter earlier, but it's actually this Curley Maple Gap Shelter. So that's the plan. We'll see what the campsites look like, and yeah, we'll get up there and see how it goes. I guess the water is a really slow flow, the water source. So so I went ahead and got 2 liters of water, which is usually enough for the night to carry up. So I'm not taking any chances, and I'm gonna get up there and take it from there. All right, it's 3:45 p.m. and I made it to the Curley Maple Gap Shelter. Yeah, it was pretty nice, double-decker, pretty well maintained. It looks a little newer. It's kind of grassy around here. It's kind of different. Got some tent spots. Not a lot of tent spots, but there's some, yeah. Fire ring, nice bench. And this is all covered, so that's kind of nice when when the picnic table's covered. So, and we may have rain tonight into tomorrow, so this might be a good place to hang out tonight.